2, 3.
So hi, this is Ariel,
I'm Apur. My name is Soga.
and all of us participated in the Agua Clara trip to Honduras 2014, and now we're going to tell you a little more of what we did over there.
It was a 15-day long trip, and 30 of us participated. In Honduras, we visited a lot of water treatment plants. Some of them were Agua Clara, and some of them were not non-Agua Clara plants. And we stayed with host families for a part of the trip. We also, like, some of the students had particular projects, like Ariel worked on ramp pump in San Nicolas, I worked on stock tank. There was a group working on foam filtration.
And rest of us picked projects to do during the trip. For example, there was a group that did a project on community impact of Agua Clara, and there was another group that did a research project on wastewater management system in Honduras. So basically, it was a very fun plus
Productive time.
educational,
Yeah,
rewarding trip.
And I think, like, everybody learned a lot from the trip, and the trip had a huge impact on all of us, I think.
In many different levels.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So we'll take you now to see what we saw. And by the way, Daniel says hi.
Oh, that's what's up.
Son ingenieros ambientales, civiles, algunos ya sacando maestría, otros
What's that? I think we still have a port. Yeah, she's coming.
Wait, it's recording. I'm just taking random footage and then I'll edit it. So
Okay.
if you want to say something.
Well, okay. Well, we're in San Pedro Sula, and we just got from our flight, so we're looking to get to Copan Ruins.
That's what's up.
Our trip started with a pleasant visit to the historic Mayan ruins. We visited a famous park of high archaeological value. After the pyramids, we walked around the town and had lunch at the local market. At this point, everyone was excited and we were all getting to know each other better. Next day, we visited a small water treatment plant near Copan. The plant was over 10 years old and built by the Spanish government. It was way more high-tech than a regular Agua Clara plant, but the operator complained that various parts were failing as there was no scope of maintaining the highly sophisticated parts. Later in the afternoon, we visited a small village called Mariposales. It was a small isolated community that lacked any meaningful infrastructure or any source of clean water. This location represents the quintessential problem that new Agua Clara technologies like foam filter is trying to solve. Due to the circumstances, many families here resorted to feeding Coca-Cola to their infants. Such was the gravity of the drinking water problem in Mariposales.
After Copan, we went to Santa Rosa de Copan. Here we explored more of the Honduran urban scene, met with members of water board and municipality, and visited 2 water treatment plants. We also learned that the city pumped its entire water supply from a river downstream, a peculiar solution. This is also the first place where most of us tried baleadas for the first time at a nice family-owned kitchen.
Jesus del Toro would be the next location of the new Agua Clara plant. Here, we talked to the water boards, the municipality, and they explained multiple topics, from the current administration to what plans they had it for the future. After the presentations from the members of the water board and the municipality, we toured the FEMA plant that was currently operating in Jesus del Toro.
Jesus del Toro. Acá es donde se va a construir después otra planta de Agua Clara. Esta ya es una, pero va a haber otra.
After we looked at the plant's advantages and disadvantages and looked at all the processes, the groups had headed into town to talk to the population, interview people, and ask them what they think of the current water supply. We also had the chance to talk to the health coordinator of Jesus del Toro municipality. She explained some of the current health problems, such as diarrhea in young populations due to untreated water, outlined strategies to educate people about clean drinking water, and provided records of cases and data on health-related issues. Members of the Agua Clara group also asked her questions pertaining to their topics of research. Most importantly, she emphasized how the improved quality of water has reduced the number of waterborne health issues in Jesus del Toro.
Y se ha mejorado la calidad del agua que ingieren.
Our next destination, Támbara, was the first place we visited that had an Agua Clara plant, and its performance and effects on the local population were extremely impressive. This plant had the first stacked rapid sand filter installed in 2011 and serves 3,500 people. Here the group got the chance to look at an Agua Clara plant in operation and saw firsthand a treatment that took influent water at 80 plus NTU and outputted water at 0 NTU, a great accomplishment. Flocculation. Pues acá sedimentation. Sale acá el sedimentation. El entrance tank, this is el raw water. We rapid mix. After the tour of the plant, lunch awaited us. Doña Reina and her family welcomed us to her house and prepared an absolutely delicious lunch.
Exacto. Pero sí, y lo mejor que todos los años tengo la visita de ustedes,
Sí.
acá, todos los días tengo como 12 años, desde que se inició la planta, yo he empezado a trabajar con ellos, darles la alimentación,
Okay.
cuando vienen todos.
Deliciosa.
Cuando vienen acá, vienen a comer a la casa todos. Sí, y siempre yo los recibo con los brazos abiertos. A todos. Bienvenidos siempre. Bienvenidos, y yo siempre amo Roy, y a los también lo trato bastante. Incluso tengo muchos amigos, amigos que han venido acá, han estado conmigo en la casa acá, comen en la casa y todo.
Que se quedaron por varios meses.
Se quedaron por meses, yo los cuidaba, yo los cuidaba a ellos. Y bueno, tengo muchos recuerdos de ellos.
Qué bueno,
bonitos,
qué bueno.
bonitos
Eso me
recuerdos de ellos.
In the outskirts of Tegucigalpa, at a roadside restaurant, the foam filtration team assembled a newly designed foam filter. This was to be demoed to a group of government officials, professionals, and organizations working in the water sector in Honduras. It was important that we made a good impression, as this new design of foam filter was highly anticipated for its use in areas of small population. We drove down to the location at 7 in the morning. Everyone collectively helped the foam filter team assemble the filter. Just before lunch, the team presented their design to the group. Unfortunately, the results were nowhere near to our expectations. Although this was highly disappointing, the foam filter team kept working on the setup to make improvements. They finally got it to work, and the results were great. The group of officials had already left by this time, but it was a moment for all of us to cherish, as it showed how well we worked as a group.
By the time we got to San Nicolas, we were almost done with, we were halfway through the trip, and by that time we had learned the culture there and what the life in Honduras is like. The kind of, we were more used to the food now and the terrain and the temperature, and it was a perfect time to start living with host families. So that's what we did there. We were there for 4 days, and we lived with host families in groups of 2. We tried to split ourselves with one Spanish-speaking person and another not so Spanish-speaking person.
But some groups
we didn't
had
have
both.
enough Spanish-speaking people, so some of them struggled, but it was fine in general.
Yeah.
And it was a great experience.
Definitely.
San Nicolas also had a water treatment plant that was being built, and Apur did some work there.
So the plant at San Nicolas is the newest agua clara plant being implemented in Honduras, and it was near completion when we were there. So we actively worked on stock tank and ramp pump there, and the design team was observing the plant closely, and they took some new ideas on how they can improve this semester, and we went down in the sand filters, the sedimentation tank. People actually got a chance to look at the diffusers in the sedimentation tank. That was interesting.
Yeah, basically, San Nicolas was the place where pretty much everyone in the group, because it was empty, there was no water, but everything was almost built already. Everyone in the group got a chance to go inside all these, all the parts and really learn the plant. And Monroe also gave us a task to be able to learn what every single pipe does in the plant by the end of the 4 days we were there. So it was very beneficial for people who were taking 4540 and learning about the plant. There couldn't have been a better way to learn about the plant. And like he just mentioned, Ariel did ramp pump there.
Yeah.
Okay, so this semester, me, Kelly, and Ruben worked on modifying the existing ramp pump that was in the Agua Clara labs. We went through several iterations. We saw a couple of designs, we assembled various designs, and finally we came up with one that we thought delivered the best results. This was the one that we were going to take to Honduras to install in the San Nicolas plant. So once in Honduras, we worked with the operators and the master of the works to assemble it and to set up and to situate the ramp pump. We got it working, and to all our surprise, it worked superbly well. It pumped more water than what it pumped at the labs here at Cornell, and everybody was excited. And we'll show you now what the ramp pump does.
The original pressure, maybe if you go down to it, I don't know. Because even so, you think you get there performance, you have sort of like this piping?
Who? Goo?
It was one of the better experiences in Honduras we had amongst
I think so. It was
other places.
On the second day in San Nicolas, we went to the water plant in Atima, and that was a good experience.
I was mostly impressed by the operators there,
yeah.
because they were really smart and they were very knowledgeable. They knew everything about the plant. Before we went for the trip, I worked for the CDC, so I was trying to come up with things that I could share with the operators. It would help them use the CDC better because it's slightly complicated. And when I went there and I was talking to them about CDC and trying to get them ideas about how we can improve it or what things they like or they don't, the way they talked to me about CDC and all the technical aspects that they knew, and these were people who barely went to school, and it was great to see how knowledgeable they were.
That's right.
And how professionally they were running the plants.
So on the last day in San Nicolas, all the host families and all the students had a get together at the school, and they organized a function for us where a group of like school kids performed a dance, and
Yeah,
that
they
was
were
pretty
really good.
Yeah,
They did some authentic.
That was interesting. We all had dinner there, and that was the last day.
Yeah, it was like a family dinner. Everyone came with their host family and sat with their family, and there was a dance after that as well, after the dinner. And then there was also a band, a Honduran band that
That's
played.
right. That's right.
So it basically, yeah, San Nicolas was fun.
Yeah,
and
it
we did
was.
some other fun stuff too. People went hiking up the mountains.
We went to the hot springs.
We went to the hot springs and we played soccer with
Oh,
locals.
we played so much soccer.
We lost terribly every time, but it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, play that soccer.
Really, he blocked the ball once! Come on, guys!
You got it, go! What a beast! Maria! Go, Maria!
And people started getting sick after that.
Oh yeah, that was in San Nicolas. Most of the people got sick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it was good.
yeah. I didn't get sick.
Yeah, me too.
From San Nicolas, we went to La Ceiba, which was a beach town. We stayed there for a few hours and hung out in the beach. We also had lunch in the nearby restaurants. And from there, we went to Pico Bonito, where we stayed for a day, where we did a lot of fun activities like rafting and hiking. After that, we went to San Pedro Sula and flew back to New York, which was the end of our trip. This was a very fun trip, and lastly, we would like to thank everyone who participated in the fundraising that made this amazing trip possible. Until next time.